All right, so we've got some interesting price action to break down today. This is going to be a small green day for me. We had some continuation on RVSN going up through 16, 17, 18, 19, $20 and up. The problem was the spreads. It was just very difficult to trade. I took several trades on it and I had several close calls until I was just like, you know what? I am playing with fire on this stock. I'm going to get in, the spread's going to open up, then it's going to drop, and I'm going to take a big dollar a share loss. We also had some interesting momentum on NEXI, NEXI, which really surprised me because there was a high volume red candle. It seemed like a rejection, and then it did a curl back up. I did not expect that. Plus, we had some momentum on some lower price stocks as well. So let's jump onto the charts and we'll go over the trades from today. All right, so RVSN, you see NEXI's on the scan right now, or on the charts. I'll put that one up first. I'll switch over to RVSN. We'll go over this one first. So RVSN, well, you see, look at that candle wick right there. On that candle wick, it dropped from $22.34 down to 21. So it's $1.34 a share, and then it bounces back up. And, you can see this rejection right here. So this stock, unfortunately, today, while it has moved, it has been really difficult to trade. So we'll look at the level 2, and you can see right now you've got a 23-cent spread. Might not think that's too bad, and right now it's not. But it's had this tendency of having the spreads open up as much as 50, 60, 70 cents a share, and that's untradeable. So the problem for me on this is, I would do something like this. I'd see it starting to squeeze up. I'd be like, okay, this looks good. Stop is at 22. Going to jump in at 22.40, for instance. And I'm instantly basically down 36 cents or 26 cents on the spread. So, now I'm kind of sitting here thinking, all right, this thing has to break over 22.50. And then I sit and I wait. And next thing you know, a sell order goes through and we're at 21.80 in like a heartbeat. And there's no chance to get out for a smaller loss. It's just instant flush. So when I started trading this, it was pre-market. It popped up basically in one candle. It went from 16, 17 to 18. And I bought as it was squeezing up right here into the micro pullback. And I got some profit out at 18.32, which put me up $1,000 on the day. It wasn't a huge trade, and I was actually unrealized red about 1,500 on it as I bought on the dip before it popped back up. So, not great risk to reward ratio on that one. I sort of felt like I was being a little too impulsive, jumping in it so fast. I think the thing for me is I was like, something's moving, finally, because prior to that, this was 9:04 and I hadn't taken a single trade yet. The gap scanner, we'll go over it in a minute, but there was nothing else that looked good. So when this popped up, I already was familiar with it because I traded it well yesterday, and I thought, all right, I'm jumping in this quick. And I jumped in it quick, but it kind of stalled out. The risk to reward wasn't great. It then sort of grinds back up here, but in this area, you'll notice like 1, 2, 3 dojis in a row. Then it goes a little higher, and then kind of a rejection. And the fact is, yes, this did go from 1884 up to 1920, but that's basically the spread between the bid and the offer. Like, that's not a big profit at all. And then it drops down here, and at the open it surges up. And I traded it again here, but I kept dealing with being uncertain, getting stopped out when all of a sudden the spread would open up, and then it would go higher without me. So you could see here on the 10-second chart in this move, at the open, yes, it definitely moved up, but it was a little tricky. It was a little touch and go here. Really a couple of nice candles and then a nasty rejection, and then another flush here, another flush there. And we had a lot of hidden sellers on this, which I thought was interesting and concerning. Pretty much at every whole dollar. So $18 a share, $19 a share, 20, 21, 22. There's probably going to be more hidden sellers as it comes up towards 23. And that's a challenge because for me, I'm thinking about getting in for the breakthrough a whole dollar. And then all of a sudden it breaks by 10 cents because there's hidden sellers stacked up, and then it flushes back down. So definitely some difficult price action on this one. I did not find it easy to trade. I did not make good money on it. And I think I had a pretty good chance of losing $3,000 or $4,000 on it. So at this point, one of my trades, I jumped in for the high day break, and it wasn't this one, but it was, I don't know, it was one of these high day breaks, and I was just like, you know what? I think I got to call it quits. So RVSN did better on it yesterday. Even though it's higher today, up 40, 50%, I did not find it to be easy to trade. Maybe it gets easier at some point, but right now it is really tricky. All right, so that's RVSN. NEXI, this one kind of came out of nowhere. And I try to be really careful of stocks that come sort of out of nowhere because these ones usually have sort of less attention, lighter relative volume, not as many people paying attention to them. They're not leading gappers. It was up like 15%. Now it's up 46%. It's moved higher. So it squeezed up here and it halted at 1188. It was then showing like a 1250 resumption, but that resumption slowly came back down until it was showing flat. It opened, high volume red candle right here. And this can be like, the kiss of death for these types of stocks where you have a sort of light volume move up and then a high volume rejection. So on these two candles, I saw some people say they were taking dips, and I was like, I'm not seeing it. You've got the highest volume candle of the day being red. I don't think the stock is obvious enough. Yes, it's a former Momo stock, but I don't think that's enough. Well, I had the wrong idea on it because it did end up bouncing up on some really nice volume here on these candles, and it goes right back up to 12, and then it kind of pushes higher to 1270, drops down, false halt up. And then it pushes to 13, drops down, and then pushes up here to 1340, pulls back, pops up, pulls back, and now we're back at the high. So after this, I started feeling a little frustrated, which is, look, it's okay to feel frustrated. And sometimes I feel that way when I'm trading. It's just like, man, I can't get in the groove today. There was nothing good pre-market. And then RVSN was just, I don't know, not easy to trade. It moved dollars a share, and I coulda, woulda, shoulda made $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 or more on it, but I just couldn't get dialed in. And then here, same thing on NEXI, not getting dialed in on it. Which I think is all for good reason. I think my first trade on RVSN, although it was a winner, I don't think it was a very good trade because I wasn't patient enough. And then my later trades on it, I had a couple of them where I didn't feel confident buying support. So I went for the breakout, and the breakouts were not good on it because of the spreads and I don't know what else, hidden sellers. So RVSN, first trade was sort of bad. And then the remaining trades, I think they were okay, but I certainly reduced my risk. It's hitting the scanner here as it hits 2330. See, it's annoying, right? That'll annoy you. You're like, God dang it. Look at this thing. It's just, it's another dollar a share higher. But there you see a 10,000 share seller on the level 2. 10,000 shares. This is a $250,000 sell order, right? 10,000 shares at $23 a share. That's $230,000. Those are big orders. So, then back down to 86, and I don't know. Just weird. It's just a tough one, unfortunately. So anyways, just kind of got myself a little bit annoyed. Didn't get anything on NEXI. RVSN, very small profit on it. And when we look at the gap scanner this morning, I sat down early and we didn't have anything that really looked good or worked. ATPC leading gapper, floats higher, price is too low. Well, we'll switch to the gap scan here. So we're going to go to top gappers. All right, so top gappers, ATPC 79%, but yeah, no go. So that one, no interest in that one. So that one's off. AGFY, too cheap. PXLW, PXLW, this one was interesting. The thing with this was it had a nice headline. Walt Disney and Pixelworks enter into a first of its kind agreement. So I was like, this seems solid. But floats 54 million shares, and I believe it's easy to borrow. And I just kind of was watching, and I was like, I just don't know about this. I'm just not sure. Kind of, the news came out early, but nothing happened. And then it kind of squeezes up here, pulls back. Anyways, just wasn't sure about that one. ITRM, this one, a bit more thickly traded, had kind of a nice move, but then rejected, sold off hard. No trades on that. RVSN, already talked about that. CRBP from yesterday or from Friday, it's still kind of hanging in there, but no trades on that. That one has the same problem. Big spreads, not great liquidity, hard to get in and out for quick trades. NVVE, this one was mentioned a couple times. Some people were like, oh, could this be a reverse split pop? I don't think so, because it already did a reverse split and had a pop. It already did that. So, I don't think the setup's already happened. So, no, so that one's out. So, yeah, all of a sudden we're coming up to 9 a.m. and I'm like, man, it's a no trade. Is it going to be a no trade day? So then when RVSN did pop up, I was very quick to jump on it. And I nearly lost $1,500 on that first trade. It could have been more. Could have even been more. So that was a close call. Ended up being a winner, but not a good trade to start the day. Reduced my share size for the rest of the trades. Was a little bit more conservative, but had one trade where I bought right into a hidden seller and was like, uh-oh, this isn't good. And now this is coming back down a little bit. NEXI, going higher. It's annoying. I don't know what to say other than it's annoying. And I struggle with these when I miss it here to get in up here. Because if I get in up here and then I lose on it, I just feel even dumber. It's for me, it's like, well, I had, the decision here I think was guided by where I was at on the day, and I can't fault that decision too much. I think it was the right decision. To not jump in this move was the right decision, but it can still be frustrating to make the right decision or what you feel is the right decision and to see a stock go up without you. Remember, the quality of your decisions should not be based just on the outcome of your trade. Just because a trade is a winner doesn't mean it was a good decision to take that trade. So you can easily take terrible trades and get rewarded for it, or you can make the right decision and not take a trade and it goes up and you feel frustration. So you have to try to isolate your process of making the decision of whether to take a trade or not to take a trade based on what you knew at that moment. And then ask yourself, was that the right decision or should I have done something differently? So regardless of sort of the outcome. Now, the outcome is a separate factor, but if you're making good decisions and you're doing that consistently, then over long periods of time, the outcome should be positive. And it certainly is for me. But today's a day where I'm not really coming ahead in a significant way. Although, hey, small green day, really can't complain. I really shouldn't complain. It's a small green day, and I'll live to trade another day. And maybe tomorrow or, another day this week, I'll be able to get a little bit of an easier read on things. I'll feel more dialed in. And the price action will be something that I can kind of get my head around a bit better. So rather than sit here and watch something continue to go without me, which I chose not to trade, I'm going to shut it down, maintain discipline, and live to trade another day. So I'll be back at it tomorrow. Reminder, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, and there's no guarantee you'll find success. So manage your risk, take it slow, and I'll see you guys back here for my recap tomorrow.